Folks, today, nobody wants your home. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending November 6, 2024. I, in my career, have been involved with many estate sales. This is where the homeowner passes away and the estate is being sold. And it's the executor, the person in charge of selling the estate, that calls me and says, Santo, I need to talk to you about this property. What's the value and so forth, and maybe we're going to sell it. Now, the executor, many cases, is often the children of the homeowner. So that's a typical estate sale. There's another that, in my mind is kind of sort of still like an estate sale, but the homeowner hasn't passed away. The homeowner could be husband and wife, could be just maybe one of the parents. They're too old to live in their home now. They're in a nursing home or a retirement residence, and the children have power of attorney to sell the property. And that's the plan. They still call me and say, Santo, what's the value of this home? And then they're going to make the decisions. Well, from my experience, I can tell you, say 10 years ago, when I came across that situation and I was asked to value the home, I'd give the value. And more so than not, what the executor or not so much the executor, but whoever was inheriting that home, their plan became, you know what, we're going to keep the home and rent it out, or we're going to move into that home and rent out the home that we currently own now. So there were no sales going on. They weren't necessarily selling. Many did, for sure, but the people that I was dealing with, my experience was 10 years ago, they would keep the home. They wouldn't sell it, and they'd either rent it out or move into it themselves, into the family home. Sometimes this is the home many times this was the home they grew up in. They would keep it, renovate it, and stay there. Fast forward to today, when I'm in those same scenarios where the executor or whoever has the power of attorney, the children of the parents that are in that situation, they want the home sold. They have no intention of moving into the home, keeping the home. They want the money. And attitudes have changed when it comes to that. 10 years ago, it's not like we're talking eons ago. 10 years ago is not that long ago, but I've seen attitudes change when it comes to that situation. Today, they want the money. They want the home sold. Now, is it, we can speculate all sorts of reasons why, but we do know, and it's a fact, Canadians are way more in debt today than they were in the past. We do know that homes cost way more today than they did in the past. And maybe the people that are inheriting that money, the children, maybe they do want the bigger home and it's so much harder to buy today. So maybe that's why they want the money. Cars are way more expensive. Everything is just way more expensive today. And maybe they could use the money more today than in the past, which I'm almost uncomfortable saying that they could they could use more money today than before. They need more money today than before. Maybe it's all the stories that we hear about rental and tenants, and fewer people want to be in a landlord situation. So maybe that's, you could say, yeah, we could rent it out, but who wants the headaches of dealing with landlords, with everything you hear about today when it comes to who wants to be a landlord when you hear about everything going on with tenants? So maybe there's an aspect to that. There's all sorts of reasons why it's not, I don't know every situation, but I do know selling the property today is more top of mind and the choice that more often people make, at least the people I've dealt with, than in the past. Times have changed, attitudes have changed. If you happen to be in a situation where you are going to be, you're the parent, you're the homeowner that's actually going to be in a position to sell your home, ask your kids what they want. Ask your kids Are they happy taking over or moving into the family home? Get their opinion on that today. If you have any kind of experience in what I'm speaking about now, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. There's a link to my calendar here, another one below in the description. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, we have two semis. Each are two family homes with totally self-contained basement apartments in South Etobicoke, recently completed. At the end of this video, there'll be links on the screen. Click on that, check them out. Let's get into the numbers here. So we're focused on the city of Toronto. Now, normally in my regular program, which we'll get into shortly, I break them down by week. But we just finished October, so let's look at month over month, going back for several years. Again, this is just for the city of Toronto and only for detached properties. If we look at sales for October 2024, 838 detached properties were sold across the city of Toronto. Compared to the previous 2 years, to 2023, 2022, well, 2022 and 2023, we're pretty much the same, 595, 585. We're now at 838, so sales are much higher than what we did October last year, October the previous year, but lower from October 2021, where we sold 1,057 detached properties. So sales are up, but lower from 2021 and lower still from 2020. Let's look at average sold price. $1,779,000 is the average sold price for detached properties for the month of October 2024. Compared to last year, average sold price, October this year versus October last year, we're up about 4.5% since last year's average sold price. Compared to the previous year, we're up about 12% from 2022 average sold prices. So average sold price October to October to October, going back the last 2 years, average sold price is up. And I'm saying this because I know we're always talking about, prices are down, so many active listings and, all these things about doom and gloom out there. But October to October, average sold prices are actually up when it comes to detached properties. Compared to 2021, we're pretty much the same. 0.4% is the difference in average sold price. So we're up from the previous 2 years, but down or about the same, let me say, we are down, but about the same for 2021. Now, 2021 is just before the mega peak that we had at the beginning of 2022. But if we compare October to 2020, we're up almost 21% from October 2020 average sold prices. So that's what's been happening year over year, going back to October 2020 when it comes to average sold prices. If you purchased in 2020 or prior, values have gone up quite a bit for you there. If you've purchased even in the last couple of years, it would seem October to October, prices are up slightly. Let's look at months of inventory. Months of inventory, April this year, since April, well, we had the lowest months of inventory February and March this year. This is month by month. Months of inventory has been increasing right up to September, where we hit 4. For October, months of inventory came down to 2.8 months of inventory. So that's the fall market. We see a bit of action there in the fall market when it comes to a little bit increased activity. That's the detached market broken down by month. Let's get into our regular programming, where for week ending November 6th, we're going to look at detached properties, towns and semis. I do have condos here just for reference, but the detached market since the beginning of October, average prices have been jumping up, seems like regularly on a weekly basis right now. So for week ending October 6th, 160 detached properties were sold. 42 of those were at $2 million or more. I've circled this because it seems that the amount selling at $2 million or more is a little bit, but creeping up. So there's more and more selling at $2 million or more. Sales generally since the beginning of October seem to be coming down, but average sold price is climbing now for a few weeks in a row, sitting at $1,697,000. That's for week ending November the 6th. 1697 is 9% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 6% higher. And if we look at the dotted line, that's a 4-week moving average. The median price kind of seems a bit flat for October. The average price, if we go back a bit, actually going back to median, I said for October, but you could come all the way back to the beginning of September. It's up slightly, down slightly, so a bit flat. Average price since the beginning of September has gone up. It can average out now to where it, even though we're seeing the few weeks here trending up, it's kind of evened out. It's a bit flat, but that's because it hasn't taken into account. It's a 4-week moving average. It hasn't really taken into account these last few weeks that we're going up, up, up in average sold price. 160 were sold, 41% sold at list price or more. That's 66 detached properties sold at list price or more. Listings have been trending down. Active listings coming down slightly also. And months of inventory coming down. We're now sitting at 3 months of inventory. So as months of inventory comes down, average prices tend to go up. That's the normal behavior. And months of inventory, it's basically the relationship between supply and demand. Here's Toronto broken down into 9 different sections. Now, if we say all of Toronto is sitting at 3 months of inventory, that's just right there at the borderline of between a seller's market and a balanced market. Well, there's a couple of areas here, 3 in particular, that are outperforming the whole city. Scarborough's at 2.5 months of inventory. East York Riverdale is at 2 months of inventory. That's very competitive. Etobicoke's at 2.2 months of inventory. Also, so these areas are more of a seller's type market, not we've experienced seller's market where we had 1 month of inventory. We're not talking that, but you are going to have some competition when it comes to many of the properties that are for sale there. And you should just be prepared that if you're looking to buy or sell in these areas, that's what you can experience. Here's semi-detached. 57 semi-detached properties sold for week ending November 6th. 11 of those were at $1.5 million or more. Average sold price is $1,239,000. 1239 is 0.2% lower than we were this time a year ago. The median price is 0.4% higher. Rounded, both are 0% change. I just thought I would show you the actual percentage. It's really tough. I'm just going to go back. It's really tough to figure out which way sales or which way average prices are trending when it comes to semis and to townhouses that I'm going to get into next. We could look at the dotted line, but there's so many ups and downs on a weekly basis. It's tough to figure out which way our price is going. Months of inventory, extremely low. We're sitting at 1.9 months of inventory. A little over a third, 35% of these semis sold at list price or more. Here's townhouses. 15 townhouses were sold. These are freehold townhouses. 4 of those were at $1.5 million or more. Average sold price is $1,324,000, way up there from the previous week. I did put an arrow saying, yeah, it kind of looks like prices are going up, but judging from what we're seeing over the last whole year, Next week, average price could come way down, and that's because the sales are so few that average price is very susceptible to really what's being sold there. So average sold price is 23% higher year over year. The median price is 19% higher. Months of inventory sitting at 2.9 months of inventory. 40% of those freehold townhouses sold at list price or more. Here's a quick summary of months of inventory. For detached and for towns, we're kind of right at the borderline of what we'd say is a seller's market or a balanced market, which is the 3 months of inventory. You're going to experience both when you're out there. You're going to experience seller's market. You're going to experience balanced market. Some areas are just going to be so many properties for sale or just priced totally wrong and they're sitting there. You may experience a buyer's market also. You're seeing it all out there in this market right now. It's a tricky market to work in. Now, check out these semis. The links should be on the screen here. Have an awesome day.